Very big story this morning. This is an explosive bombshell that is raising brand new questions about the investigation into the Benghazi terror attacks. We still do not know exactly what happened at the CIA annex, but there are new reports about what happened in the basement of the State Department. A former State Department deputy claiming that those associates, close associates of Hillary Clinton, were involved in scrubbing documents before they were handed over to the Accountability Review Board, who looked into all of this. Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz is here to respond to these new allegations. So all of this surrounds this Deputy Assistant Secretary Raymond Maxwell. What did he do? What did he come forward with that started this ball rolling?
Oh, roughly a year or so ago, he came in and met with myself and Trey Gowdy, and he told this story that he's been very consistent about, which is that the Accountability Review Board was supposed to have unfettered, just total access to all the documents. But there was an operation there in the basement of the Department of State to make sure that they never did see all those documents. They were essentially creating two piles, things that the Accountability Review Board would see and that Congress would see, and anything that shed, quote, bad light on Hillary Clinton and her senior management, that they were put over in a different pile and that they were to never be seen. And the people that were in that room directing traffic were none other than Hillary Clinton's chief of staff, Cheryl Mills, and Jake Sullivan, her deputy chief of staff. It doesn't get any more high-ranking than that.
So Raymond Maxwell, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, claims that in the basement of the State Department, when the Accountability Review Board requested every document, and we all know that's the way it works in legal situations, you have to turn over absolutely everything, that Cheryl Mills, who everybody knows, Cheryl Mills' name, told Raymond Maxwell that that's what they were doing, that they were culling out the things that could incriminate Hillary Clinton?
That was the operation that was going on. There were several people in the room, but she was the senior-most person in that room during a period of time in which Raymond Maxwell was in there. Now, that's his story. There are other sides to this story, but you can see why Trey Gowdy and the Select Committee is going to want to hear from everybody who was in that room at that time. But he had proximity. He had reason to be there. He did show up, as best we can tell, and it's something that the Select Committee is going to have to investigate.
What's the other side of the story saying about what happened?
We haven't heard from them. We have always been asking. At the time, it was the Oversight Committee, and it was asking for all the documents. That, to me, is as easy as, let's go ahead and push print for anything that says Benghazi. But the Congress has never, ever gotten everything from the State Department. They've never certified that they've given everything to Congress. Here, more than 2 years after the fact. Why is that?
No, they've said we've had hearing upon hearing. We've turned over thousands and thousands of pages of documents. So, I mean, the question now is what happened to Pile B that wasn't given over?
What the State Department has never said is they've never said that they've shown us all the documents. And so to have somebody as senior as Ray Maxwell, a very distinguished career. In fact, they highlighted him as maybe one of 4 people that they concerned about maybe should have some disciplinary action. They found none. They found none. They said that he hadn't maybe read all of the intelligence. He was pretty candid about that. But ultimately, the State Department, remember, with Benghazi, nobody was ever fired. Nobody ever missed a paycheck. Nobody was ever dismissed. Nobody was found at fault. And so his credibility, I think, in our mind, went much, much higher. And for him to say that Cheryl Mills, the chief of staff to Hillary Clinton, was telling them not to provide these documents. Is he going to testify to this in front of the American people as his hearings move forward, which start this week on Wednesday? At some point, he's obviously going to speak to the committee, and I hope to the American people. But what's happening on Wednesday is not specific to this. This came up rather suddenly. Understood. It wasn't planned.
Has Cheryl Mills responded to this story?
Not that I have, not directly to me, and that's for Trey Gowdy and the Select Committee to pursue.
All right. Big development. Yeah. Jason Chaffetz, thank you very much. Good to have you with us. We'll see where this goes, and all that gets rolling. We've been watching and listening and waiting for Trey Gowdy's report to come out. All that gets started on Wednesday, right here in America.